Alright, ladies and gentlemen, been getting bombarded with people asking me, Rudy, MetaZoo, are you gonna be a part of it?
To actually be able to play MetaZoo, not just kind of get the cards. I want you to be able to play it. So I'm also going to give you a release deck. So this has...
Yes. So the question everybody wants to know, can another TCG come to market and actually be successful?
Like asking if a player is wearing a jacket, or if there's a radio nearby, or that have a player do something silly like hug the card or say a silly phrase. But others come...
Alright, so let's go back in time to literally like a year ago. But you're going to have to bear with me, because even though it's a small period of time, there's so much to go over and it gets confusing really, really fast. Maybe you've heard, or I don't know, maybe you haven't, but basically MetaZoo. So the thing with MetaZoo is that it was actually funded through a Kickstarter campaign. The funny thing is though, no one really knew what this was at the time or even had much hope for it. Alright, maybe that's a little bit unfair. I wouldn't say no one had hope for it at the time because the Kickstarter was fully backed, although it was quite underwhelming. Alright, so let's just say a year ago you decided to back the project when it was still up and running. One of the tiers here was for 20 USD, which if the campaign was successful, you would be given a Kickstarter MetaZoo spellbook. So the Kickstarter spellbook came with 10 Kickstarter exclusive MetaZoo booster packs, a spellbook exclusive promo card, and a couple of other things. The box was also made to look like a book, which is really cool. I actually really like that. And then I guess for the high rollers out there was a higher tier which cost you 50 USD, which got you a MetaZoo Kickstarter booster box, which contained 36 MetaZoo Kickstarter booster packs. That was already an absolute mouthful, and we're only just getting started. Oh god. All right. I myself actually knew about the Kickstarter, mostly through word of mouth and scouring the internet. Scouring, is that a word? And you guessed it, I didn't back it at all. Why didn't I back it? Why the hell didn't I back this project? I mean, that's hindsight, ladies and gentlemen. And if we were to look at these numbers, it was actually an insanely small amount of people that backed this project, like absolutely insanely small. Obviously now that we have hindsight, this is quite a shock, but back in the day, all of like a year ago, this project was basically nothing. No one knew what it was. No one was really backing it. It's absolutely mind-blowing. All right, so the Kickstarter was a success, though only just really. Kickstarter product was successfully sent out to all the backers eventually. Oh yeah, if you didn't know what backers were, that's basically the people that give money towards a project or a campaign on Kickstarter. They call them backers. The more you know. And then this happened.
What's happening with Magic? It's exactly what I'm seeing with Pokemon. I'm seeing with Flesh and Blood, Force of Will. I'm seeing it in Weiss, this new Digimon thing. And now I'm hearing about, I got these other new card games I've been approached with that I'm going to be doing videos on. Some MetaZoo thing and some other one. You see what I'm talking about?
Now, you may or may not recognize that man. That little hermit you just saw is Rudy from Alpha Investments. Maybe that's kind of rude. Maybe I shouldn't call him a hermit. Let's just call him Big Papa Rudy. This video that he made on March 20th, 2021, briefly, very, very briefly mentioned MetaZoo, literally so briefly for the first time to a large audience also for the first time. Check out his channel, Alpha Investments. I'll put a link in the description, I guess. Then after that, he dropped another video.
So, is this also... Oh, it does label it as first edition. Okay. That's interesting. So all these things, or is it just the booster boxes, or do they have labels for first edition on... Incrimination. Oh, is that, yeah, okay, so they do label their products. Are they from different versions? Okay, that's interesting. What else we got inside of here? These are more, so we got different theme decks, or maybe starter decks, or pre-built.
And then another video where he announced an official partnership with MetaZoo.
So, the timeline here moving forward is, you know, we are targeting and hoping to be around that July 2021 window, which is about between the next 30 to 60 days to do our first, you know, Alpha Investments MetaZoo first edition promotional bundle. Without getting too much details, I can tell you within that bundle we are going to have, there are currently in design as of right now, a special promo card that is currently being designed with the artist right now. It's not completed. I've seen some test rendering.
Honestly, what the hell was going on? What was even happening here? But hold up, it gets even better. Then we had the massive bombshell drop that Mike Waddell, the founder and CEO of MetaZoo, had directly partnered with Steve Aoki. What the Kickstarter boxes began to soar. 600 USD. 1500 USD. 2,350 USD. April was an insane month of MetaZoo Kickstarter product. And now, as I'm making this video, Kickstarter booster boxes are hovering around the 6k USD mark. 6k USD. These boxes were $50 not even 6 months prior. What the hell happened? How is this happening? And I haven't even talked about the non-alternating Kickstarter boxes. Let's do this. Non-alternating boxes are basically the same as the standard Kickstarter boxes. However, the packs inside are placed inside in our specific order, where the standard Kickstarter boxes, the packs are placed inside randomly. Non-alternating boxes have a sticker on the bottom that says non-alternating. People were paying double for non-alternating boxes even back in April. 6k AUD. If you didn't already guess, I'm originally from Australia, so I don't even know what that is in USD, but it is absolutely stupid. And believe it or not, there was only 2,500 Kickstarter booster boxes made, and only 400 of those were non-alternating. So really, there was only 2,100 standard Kickstarter booster boxes made, as 400 of those were actually non-alternating. Whew. I don't even know what a non-alternating Kickstarter box is worth these days. I don't even want to know. But oh no, it'd be too easy if it ended there. Then there was also the sample cards, which were cards made before the Kickstarter was even a thing, and were actually given out to some of the backers when the Kickstarter ended. The most notable difference between the sample cards and the Kickstarter cards is the sample cards have a black border, where the Kickstarter cards have a red border. That red border is also what we currently see on all MetaZoo product. Oh yeah, and there was only 100 each of the sample cards made. And of course, they are fetching absolutely ridiculous prices, insane prices. Doesn't matter if it's a holo card or a non-holo card. The sample cards, no matter what they are, especially graded, fetch ridiculous amounts of money. And then there was also things like the Kickstarter spellbook, which I mentioned earlier. There was only 1,000 of those made. They also sell for absolutely stupid amounts. Then there's the Kickstarter blister packs, and there's the Kickstarter theme decks, and there's the Kickstarter this, the Kickstarter that, and you guessed it, all of this stuff sells for so much money these days. I could be here for hours talking about it. Okay, so now that that's out of the way, let's rewind to March 26th of this year. Pre-orders for first edition products, so non-Kickstarter product, the mass-produced product, was announced. To be fair, first edition product and Kickstarter product is almost exactly the same. The difference is that the first edition mass-produced product doesn't have the K symbol on the cards, the wrappers, or the boxes. The materials they use to make the cards is slightly different. The boxes are slightly different size or shape, but all in all, Kickstarter and first edition product is pretty much the same thing. However, first edition product is just void of the K symbol. First edition base, which is how I'll refer to it from now on, basically had the same product as Kickstarter. So you had your booster boxes, you had the new and improved spellbook, which was a little bit thicker because it came with a pre-constructed deck. You had the theme decks, you had the blister packs with a cool promo and like a coin, and you also had the release event box, which was never a part of the Kickstarter. There was also some promo cards you could get from events that MetaZoo went to, and there's also some other promo cards that they usually put up online, which sell out instantly all the damn time. I've never been able to secure one. They're just gone within minutes. And they also have comics as well, which sometimes they also come with promo cards. But it doesn't end there. Here's another massive kicker to the first edition booster boxes. They came with an extra pack inside on top of the already 36 packs called a box topper. These box topper packs only come with one card per pack per box. That is a mouthful. But there's 11 cards in the entire base top box pocket set. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that there's 11 cards in the box topper set, and there's only one card in each box topper pack per one first edition booster box. Why is that so hard to get out? Far out. And get this right, one card of the box topper set is called a red ink. It's estimated that there's only between 1 to 200 red inks seeded in first edition boxes, so put into first edition box toppers. And there was only 25,000 first edition boxes printed, and that's all there'll ever be. So your chance of pulling a red ink, let's say worst case scenario, if there's only 100 printed, is 1 in 250 boxes. It's mind-blowingly low. But oh no, that's not it. Here's something else to completely blow your minds. The creator and owner of MetaZoo, Mike Waddell, and I guess Steve Aoki, released 20% of the first edition boxes for pre-order direct to consumer. So basically directly through MetaZoo, no third-party distribution company, which completely sold out in one night. One damn night. 5,000 boxes out. It's mind-blowing. The game wasn't even officially released yet. You have to realize how insane that is. You gotta remember that 6 months prior, no one even knew what the hell MetaZoo was. No one knew what it was. No one was talking about it. Hardly anyone was backing the Kickstarter campaign. No one knew what it was. To go from that to completely selling 20% of your launch product in a single night, yeah, that's mind-blowing to me. And that's not it. As I mentioned earlier, pre-orders for the promo cards would sell out almost instantly, within minutes sometimes of them being put up on the MetaZoo website. I still haven't been able to get one to this day. They just go so damn fast. Please, I just want one damn exclusive promo, come on. And then came July 30th, which is the official launch date for MetaZoo and the first edition base product, and also the announcement that the red inks will be seeded throughout the box toppers in the booster boxes. Another thing that I want to quickly mention is that by this point, MetaZoo already had PSA and BGS on board for grading MetaZoo cards. Basically, they're the two biggest card grading companies on the planet, and it's notoriously hard to get them on board with a new card game, especially PSA. What do you get if you put all this together? If you guessed rocketing prices for all MetaZoo first edition product, you are completely right, my friend. Day by day, price on first edition boxes began to absolutely rocket in price. I mean, by the time all the product even launched on the 30th of July, prices were well above MSRP. First edition booster box MSRP was supposed to be $100 USD, but by the time they came out, they were already soaring to well above 200 USD. Let's just take a look at this. Look at these prices. 250 USD. 300 USD on August the 8th. That's barely over a week after the product came out. 500 USD. All the way up to around 850 USD by the 16th of August. Just over 2 weeks after the product launched, prices were already over 8 times MSRP. Think about that. Just over 2 weeks after the launch, prices are already more than 8 times MSRP. What the hell is going on here? So I think for now, we basically have first edition base out of the way. So let's move on to MetaZoo's second official set, Nightfall. I wasn't even really going to talk about Nightfall, but there's so much stuff that has come up since making this video and basically since writing the script for this video that if I didn't add anything on this, I feel like the video wouldn't be complete. Now, with saying that, I'm not going to go too much into depth because this video is already information overload, even for myself, and I'm the one making it. Anyway, MetaZoo's second official set, Nightfall, isn't actually released yet as I'm making this video. It's set to release in late October 2021. A couple of days ago, once again as I'm making this video, Steve Aoki announced that Nightfall's print run for the first edition booster boxes will be 50,000, which is exactly double of first edition base boxes.
And Nightfall, the second set for MetaZoo, is dropping soon. It's dropping soon, and it's a 50,000 print run of boxes.
And believe it or not, within the second day of pre-orders going live, all the product had sold out worldwide. Within the second day. There was also a couple of dramatic moments there where Golden, the big wholesale distributor for MetaZoo in the US, announced that they would not be able to fulfill the supply for the smaller game stores as there just wasn't enough product to go around. And Let's Play Games, as of Nightfall, Australia's now big MetaZoo wholesaler, said that they would allow unlimited stock orders from sellers until Friday the 3rd of September, which is literally just a few days ago as of making this. And from that announcement till the 3rd of September was around 4 days in total. But wait, get this right, they had to close orders within 1 day due to the insane amount of orders people were making. Crazy times, absolutely crazy. To be completely honest though, I'm really not sure what Let's Play Games was thinking. I mean, what were they thinking would happen? So yeah, that's basically all there is to share about Nightfall at the moment. I can't really think of anything else off the top of my head, so let's move on. So I'm sure the question maybe on your mind now is why MetaZoo? Out of everything, why wasn't MetaZoo to blow up so much? In my humble opinion, there's actually quite a few reasons as to why MetaZoo is doing so well and why I believe it'll continue doing so well for years to come. Take a look at these cards. Take a really close look. What exactly do they remind you of? If you said baseball cards, number one, get your eyes checked. Number two, no, it's not baseball cards. Pokemon. They're extremely reminiscent of the early Pokemon card days. And I guess some Magic the Gathering elements scattered throughout also. The card stock, the cryptid designs and coloring, it's all very reminiscent of the mid to late 90s trading card games. You may not like the art, I mean, I wasn't a major fan of it in the first place either, but it's really grown on me and it seems to be growing on a lot of other people too. Even if you're not a massive fan of the art, you can't deny the appeal, the uniqueness, and just the nostalgic feeling that it creates. Mike Waddell, the founder and I guess CEO of MetaZoo in general, was also really smart with how he went about it. I've held off on talking about this till now, but the cryptids. The damn cryptids, which the art on the cards is based off. Cryptids are basically like urban legends about these, I guess, mythical-like creatures passed down from generation to generation. For example, the Jersey Devil, Bigfoot, Mothman, and you get the point. There's no shortage of these urban legends, and they're a free IP for anyone to use. And the only copywriting Mike needed to do was basically for their interpretation of the cryptids on the cards. And there's literally thousands upon thousands of these urban legends, so they may never run out of ideas or content with future sets. All cultures and countries have their own version of these cryptids. And as for Big Papa Rudy, I'll never be able to say that without laughing. And as for Rudy from Alpha Investments, he was also definitely a major factor for putting MetaZoo in front of a large audience, as his audience also mostly consists of TCG collectors, players, and investors. Also, how crazy is this? Rudy actually got his own custom-made promo card by MetaZoo, which he sold to his Patreons. This card also fetches a high price these days, as anything that's extremely limited in MetaZoo. I told you, it literally doesn't end. I'll just go over a few more things quickly as to what I believe contributed to MetaZoo's insane rise so fast. So we have Psa and Bgs Partnerships, and I say partnerships loosely because I'm not sure exactly to what extent their partnership extends. However, having the two biggest grading companies in the world grading your cards from the get-go is huge and absolutely mind-boggling. Then we have Steve Aoki becoming a partner. Steve Aoki, for those of you who don't know, is an American DJ, I guess. Honestly, I'd never really heard of him until Pokemon went ballistic in price, like late last year. So he's also a massive TCG investor now, I guess. Not quite sure. However, he's very well known, and he also has a half-sister who starred in that Too Fast, Too Furious movie. That's just an interesting fact that I found, as I really love that movie, and it's like a childhood classic of mine. Anyway, moving on. And then how can we forget the man himself, the CEO and founder of MetaZoo, Mike Waddell, who is super active in the community, has great communication, for the most part, tries his best to be as open as possible, such as the exact print numbers, new product, time frames, and so on. Not to mention he also invested a lot of his own money to actually make MetaZoo work. Well, I mean, that's the word on the street anyway. I believe for Mike it seems to be somewhat of a passion project and not just a money grab, so we hope. He's also appeared on Rudy's channel quite a few times lately, where they have conversations talking about anything and basically just everything MetaZoo.
So, you know, the Kickstarter continues to take off, as in the product is going up in the secondary market, and people are talking, and, you know, Channel Fireball reaches out, a few other people reach out, you and I start having discussions, and so it just starts to snowball.
I told you I was skeptical at first.
Oh, yeah.
I told you I'm optimistic. I think my exact, what were I saying?
Cautiously
I
optimistic.
was cautiously optimistic.
Yeah. Because you were like, the flesh and blood thing will never happen again. This was...
I did. I said the Black Swan.
Black Swan, right.
I did.
And I was like, you know, you have to believe in your product, right, in order to work the hardest on it, right? So.
Have a watch if you're curious. I'll leave some links below. There's a lot he has planned for the future of MetaZoo, some absolutely insane, outlandish ideas, but I still can't wait to see what actually develops out of this. Okay, so there's probably a few things that I forgot to add as to why the demand for MetaZoo really exploded. So if you think there's anything I forgot and you'd like to share it, please put it down in the comments below. I'd really appreciate it. Okay, so I have to get this out in the open. I'm not saying MetaZoo will continue to succeed. That's not what I'm saying at all. But as it stands, it'll continue to thrive for quite some time and be super sought after, at least in the short to mid-term, I believe. I guess a lot of price hikes have a lot to do with hype and people jumping on board thinking it's a good investment, which causes prices to spike. But sadly, it's not all butterflies and rainbows. There's a lot, and I mean a lot, of hate for MetaZoo currently also. Let's go to a recent Big Papa Rudy video and look at some of the comments there. It's a wild ride. I don't want to get too deep into this next topic, but I know if I didn't mention it, a lot of people would be asking why I didn't, so I'll quickly mention it now. MetaZoo released at almost the perfect time. I mean, think about it. It couldn't have been timed much better than it was. Mike is either a complete whiz at timing the market or insanely lucky. With how 2020 and 2021 have been so far, it was the perfect cocktail for TCG games to soar. I'm not going to mention what the cause of this was, as I think we all know what exactly I'm referring to. Whatever. And I think that's basically it. I've basically covered everything that I've wanted to cover. I know there's a lot of things that I've probably forgot, and there's probably a lot of important things that I forgot. So if there is, leave it in the comments below. I'd really appreciate it. I can't keep this video going, otherwise it's just going to go on forever and ever and ever. There's literally so much I can talk about, so we'll leave it at that. If you've made it this far, I thank you so much. Even if you disagree with my opinions throughout this video, I still thank you so much. However, if you did enjoy it, a like and subscribe would be absolutely fantastic. If you're in Australia and you like MetaZoo, come and join our Facebook community called MetaZoo Australia. Link will be in the description. Thank you again, and I'll see you guys next time.